Hello everyone and welcome back to the Toby's Fund for Reproductive Health Equity YouTube channel or SoundCloud channel if you are tuning in to listen to us today. Well, Pride Month has come and gone. It has flown by rather quickly, and as a social justice advocate organization who works towards equity year-round, we want to highlight some people within the queer community who are doing tremendous work to help forward equity in this country, as especially the transgender, gender nonconforming, non-binary, and intersex communities are under attack legislatively across the nation. It's important that we remind ourselves that the queer community and the fight for reproductive health and reproductive rights equity are very intertwined entities. These two things do not exist in isolation. They instead exist in cooperation with one another, and we require the support of the trans and queer communities, just as they require the support of us to further both LGBTQIA2S+ rights and equity, as well as reproductive health equity and rights. So in this video, because trans, gender nonconforming, and intersex people are at the forefront of those being oppressed due to harmful legislation across the nation, I'll be highlighting some people across generations who fit within these categories of identity and are doing great work to advocate for the rights of others as well as the people within their groups. First, I'll be talking about Kai Shappley. Kai is a 12-year-old trans girl from the state of Texas. As you can imagine, Kai has faced many challenges in her short and young life regarding transitioning and acceptance within her community. She has become an advocate along with her parents and the support of the queer Texas community, helping to forward the rights of transgender children. Jennings, who we may all know and may have become familiar with her popular television series a couple of years ago now, is a trans girl, a woman now. She's 22 years old. She's a woman of color. She attends Harvard University, and she hails from the state of Florida. She's also doing tremendous advocacy work in the realm of queer and trans rights advocacy. Next, we have a transmasculine person, Schuler Bilar, who some of you may be familiar with if you're active on Instagram within the queer and trans rights advocacy realm. Schuler is a half-Korean swimmer who is transmasculine, 27 years old, and helping to destigmatize the transgender, genderqueer, and overall LGBTQIA2S+ identity spectrum. He works within the realm of queer education and uses his platform to uplift the voices of those who are historically marginalized. Next, we have Alicia Roth Weigel. Some of you may know her as XOXYAlicia, which is a play on her intersex identity as someone who has XY chromosomes but was assigned female at birth. Alicia speaks out for queer rights overall, but especially intersex rights, as intersex people are often erased from the queer spectrum when it comes to equitable healthcare, equitable treatment within the realm of legislation, and especially when seeking medical care, etc. Alicia is 33 years old, and she also hails in Texas, which is particularly under attack regarding anti-queer legislation at this moment. The next individual that I'll talk about is Jeffrey Marsh. Jeffrey Marsh is a non-binary person. They use their platform to help bring a welcoming community and a positive parental figure energy to young queer people who might not have that experience in their real life. Jeffrey uses their platform to inform about queer issues, but largely to bring a positive message out to queer youth who are seeing so much negative messaging regarding queer identity out in the stratosphere of social media. Jeffrey is 45 years old, and as I said, is non-binary identified. Chris Mosher is an Olympic-level athlete. He uses his platform to help forward the progress of trans athletes who seek to participate in sports and are across the nation being prevented from doing so due to their status as transgender, non-binary, or gender non-conforming people. Chris is 43 years old and, like I said, has gone to the Olympic trials, is Olympic level in his sport, which is running, long-distance running. And Chris is helping to advocate for those who do not have the same platform as him or the same privileges as him. He's a trans-masculine person and has broken barriers in being such a high-achieving trans person within the realm of athletics. Next, we have T.S. Madison. T.S. Madison is a Black trans feminine person. She is 45 years old, and she is a staunch advocate of Black and queer rights across the nation. Unfortunately, because of the harm that trans feminine people are placed in, T.S. Madison, at the young age of 45, is considered one of our eldest queer feminine people and one of the overall queer elders of our community. She does not take this lightly, and she speaks out against violence against trans femme people, especially Black trans femme people. She uses her platform to advocate, as I said, for these same communities, and is a wonderful person to follow to become more in touch with the allyship that is needed for the most marginalized within the queer community. Next, we have Paige Layla. Paige Layla is also an elder, queer, and trans woman. She's a white trans woman. At 58 years old, Paige Layla is documenting her transition online on Instagram and TikTok, and you can also engage with her in order to learn the stories of trans women across history. And she's also helping to promote the stories of those who do not have a platform as big as hers. She's documenting her transition, documenting her life as a queer trans woman, and she's overall giving positive representation to those who never believed it possible within her generation to bring to light their true identity and live as who they truly are. And lastly, I'll be speaking about Miss Major. Miss Major is another queer elder. She is a Black trans woman. She's 82 years old, and she has dedicated her life to advocacy and to the support of the queer community. She has faced endless discrimination throughout her life, as you can imagine, as a Black trans woman. And she has not allowed this to silence her. She continues to do interviews, speaking engagements, writing, and endless forms of advocacy in order to help to forward the queer rights of people in need of their voice to be amplified. Miss Major is at the forefront of what many of us have considered the beginning of queer and trans liberation, as she was directly impacted by the Stonewall riots and has spoken to her experience within that realm today. We know that Black, queer, and trans women especially uphold and uplift the movement of all queer people to a more equitable, diverse, and social justice-oriented place. We at Toby's Fund wanted to make this video today in order to highlight the queer, trans, gender nonconforming, and intersex people who are continuing to do the advocacy work year-round for the queer community, as we do year-round for the reproductive health care and reproductive rights needed across the nation.